So I obviously didn't get the dress code memo, but that's okay. Anyways, hi, my name is Nara. Despite my dress at the moment, I typically look like this. I'm your usual Korean American student who dyes her hair one too many times, tends to fall asleep in class, and accidentally blows up cans of soup in the microwave. Sorry about that. But sometimes on certain weekends of the year, I actually look like this. Like this, or like this. And you might be wondering, I'm probably not doing all this for nothing. I'm not putting on crazy costumes and contacts just for fun. And actually, ever since 6th grade, I've been dedicating a good time of my hobby and free time for a hobby called cosplay. And your first question probably is, what is cosplay? It's actually an easy question to answer. It's a combination of the two words costume and roleplay. And the second question you're probably asking is, why am I doing this? This obviously isn't some kind of hobby that's easy to come across, like sports or music. And my story starts in elementary school. I wasn't exactly the cutest kid out there or the most popular one, and that led to an awful lot of bullying, unfortunately. And I wasn't exactly a very confrontational kid. When I got bullied or when I heard insults coming my way, I'd just pretend I never heard them, and I'd put my head down, keep reading, drawing, or writing. And this went on for several years. And you have to understand, when you're bullied, it really does make you hate yourself inside and out. And while you've got a lot of people saying, oh, don't change yourself for anybody, or if you don't like yourself, change yourself, I tried both, and that didn't work. I actually ended up hating myself even more because no matter what I tried, I didn't really seem like I was satisfying anybody. So what did I end up doing? I decided, well, if I wasn't going to please everybody, I'll just please myself, even if it meant having a good time on my own. So I turned to my comforts. I turned to anime, Japanese cartoons, manga, and video games as a source of comfort. And you have to understand, it's the characters I really fell in love with. They were just written so realistically and beautifully. They had their own likes, dislikes, friends, family, strengths and weaknesses. And I saw these characters that I controlled in video games, the ones I watched and the ones I read. And I wanted to become like them. They were my role models. I wanted to be as strong as the legendary soldier Big Boss. I wanted to be as friendly as Miyu Ichigo, and I wanted to be as magical as Pure Black and White. In a way, I ended up being myself by being someone else, if that makes sense. I took the bits and pieces of every character I admired, and I tried to put them in my own self, emulate them for my own good. And this was my first lesson in empathy. Through the characters that I saw going through their own struggles, I'd see myself going through them. And in a way, it just made me fall in love with the medium even more. I found comfort in these larger-than-life fictional characters that were there for me when no one else was. As far as I was concerned, they were better than the real friends I never got to have. And sometime in the summer before 7th grade, my friends on the East Coast had uploaded a photo of themselves going to a convention. And this is usually things you'd see at like Anime Expo in Los Angeles, San Diego Comic-Con, or Katsucon in DC. I don't exactly remember which one they went to, but they were dressed up as a web character from a webcomic called Homestuck. And it absolutely blew my mind because this was a friend I just met through the comic, and they had just become one of my favorite characters. They had the costume, and they had the face paint, they had the makeup and everything. And it just blew my mind because they just as easily became one of the characters I admired and had been following for years at this point. And one link led to another, and before I knew it, I was down a rabbit hole of communities on communities of people who would spend time, effort, and their own money becoming these characters that they love so much, and going to social events that celebrated them. And while I was doing this, and just researching and looking up photos and conventions, I was wondering, where had these people been my whole life? When I was being isolated from being a weird nerd or a geek, where were these people that were loving the same things I did, and probably with a bigger passion than I did? These were my people. Where had they been when I was being bullied for being a nerd my whole life? But you know, it's better late than never, and before I knew it, at my first convention in middle school, I made my own costumes, and I just started going to conventions, even though they weren't the best costumes out there. and I was literally too scared to move at my first convention. It was a great experience because it's more than controlling a character in a video game or watching them on TV. You're becoming them for a little bit. And even if it's for a day, a weekend, or a few hours even, it's really something else. You become that character and you get to pretend you're that character. You become your role models, or the characters you love and you appreciate so much. And that's just when you're going at it alone. When you're at a convention with other cosplayers, it's honestly an experience I can only describe as magical. You're surrounded by complete strangers, but at the same time, you're already the best of friends because there's something you can always rely on to start a conversation. You're already passionate about a character or a series they're from, and you're dressed up as them. So why not go up and say you like their costume or act in character with them and play out those wacky dynamics you see in movies and TV and comics all the time in real life. And trust me, it's something you want to see. So anyways, this community, it really was my savior, and it really became my family and my friend circle when I never had one. I can't tell you how many friends I made through cosplay just because they came up to me and said they liked my costume, or the friends I've become closer with because we struggled together in making those costumes probably 5 hours before the convention. It's just really something else. I really don't know how to describe it other than magical, encouraging, empowering. And it's just incredible. It really is. I cosplay because I'm showing my thanks, and it's a tribute to the characters and the series I love so much that have gotten me through the darkest times in my life. And it's helped me open up and not to be afraid of whatever people are thinking about me, because obviously we're all dressed up as fictional characters. We obviously have some kind of baseline dorkiness to work off of. For other people, it's because it's an escape for the tough times in life, when they can just pretend to be someone that's keeping them alive or keeping them going or makes them smile every now and then. And for others, it's to escape out of the introverted shell I used to be in too, to kind of step into someone else's shoes, pretend you're them, and take what you love about that character and put it into your own character after you've taken off the costume. If you're thinking about getting into cosplay, you're interested in just doing it for one time out of the day or just making something yourself, go for it. What's stopping you? It obviously haven't stopped me. So please, think about it. And if you're really interested in it, give it a shot, because I promise you, it's one of the best decisions you'll ever make in your life.